Okay, studying Leviticus, the opening verses. I want to share an insight, what I believe. Yeshua is drawing me towards and giving me signs and speaking to me about. First, just this key word, the word moed. This opening verse says, it says, Vayikra el Moshe, and he called out to Moshe. He summoned Moshe. Yikra, from the Shorish Kara, here, he called out. And he called out to Moshe. And he said, and Yahweh spoke with him. He summoned Moshe. The point of Leviticus is how to establish meetings with God, how to meet with God. That's the point of it. That's the point of it. So God summons Moshe and speaks with him. And he summons him from the tent of Moed. They say the tent of meeting, Moed, but it doesn't, it's not strong enough. Moed means appointed times, right? It means the times that are ordered and ordained for the purpose of assembly. There's the flavor often of a hierarch, like a king. It's how do you, David tells someone to go and appoint Amasa. He tells Amasa to go and summon and muster the men of Judah and come back at the appointed time that he set in a specific place in 3 days. So by extension, Moed means the place, the assembly place. It refers to the appointed assembly, the appointment itself, and the place of assembly. It's for meeting. The point of Leviticus, of Vayikra, is meeting with God. That's the point of it, is to meet with God. So then we go to, we can go to verse 2, and basically Yahweh tells Moshe, speak to the sons of Israel, okay, the Beren Bnei Israel, and say to them, Adam, which that any man, any human, okay, which brings from you, from among you, Israel, right? So this is a simple thing that's helpful because this is spatial. From you, me, Kim. It means God is, in a sense, separate. He's separate from Israel. He's there in the tent, but he's separated from them, and he's not part of their group. He wants to be their God and them to be his people. He wants to meet with them. So he's going to arrange meetings. But you could call it the tent of arrangement if you wanted, or the tent of appointments. And the means by which they come to him, he's going to describe the first offering, and the point of it is meeting, which is why it matches the name of, which is why you'll see a geographical component to the name of the sacrifice. It's called an olah. So let's see here. Okay, and you were to say to them, any man that brings from you a korban, an offering to Yahweh from a beast from the herd or from the flock, you you can cause it to draw near or bring near as your offering. And the purpose of it is, he starts with this first offering, and it's an olah. An olah is actually a geographical term, believe it or not. Olah, an ascent or stairway or steps. It is as though the animal itself is staircase or steps to ascend so that you can meet with God. Imolah korbano mina bakar, zachar tamiyam yachar beno. If you are bringing an olah, okay, as something to be drawn near, again, kind of, karav can be used as a preposition or an close or near or an adverb as well. It's the idea of drawing near, closeness, proximity. Again, a spatial term. So if you bring an olah, they'll say a whole burnt offering. It may be better to think of it as a staircase offering or a step, a thing that goes up. Not simply the thing that goes up just because the smoke rises. You are going to translate that sacrifice into a mechanism that goes up on your behalf. But it almost, you could imagine it as though when you arrange it appropriately on the altar, what ascends is the mechanism by which you can meet with God. So you can bring a male that's unblemished to the entrance of the tent of meeting. He must bring it for his acceptance, lifnei, before the face of Yahweh. So this is about meeting Yahweh. This is about drawing near to him. This is about accessing his presence and kind of stepping up. This would mean that the tabernacle is not exactly a space. The tabernacle is not exactly an earthly space. It is on the earth and entrusted to Adam, entrusted to earthlings, but it is a space that's intended for leaving the earth, not abandoning the earth or breaking away from it, but ascending to heaven. And in order for it to be accepted, okay, for it to be for his acceptance, okay, and he must bring it for his acceptance. I wonder if the word acceptance here should be seen as, entrance, like an entrance fee. Pleasure, delight, favor, goodwill. And this isn't the best definition. Ratzon, it's your will, it's your pleasure, it's your edict, it's your agenda. It's used in Isaiah. I wonder if here the best way to read it isn't to say, it's your ticket. It's your entrance to the ascent, your entrance to the higher spaces. So let's see. Ve'samach yado al rosh ha'olah, and so the guy, the one bringing the offering, he rests, he props himself up. Samach, he puts his hand on the head, but that's not strong enough. It's like he rests all of himself and props himself up on the head, on the rosh, on the head. of the offering. Now it's designated. The animal hasn't been slaughtered yet, but it's designated ha'olah, as the olah, as the staircase, as the thing that allows you to ascend. He puts his hand on its head. Ve nirtzalo. And this is in the Nephal, and it's describing the olah, the animal. The animal will be accepted. A mechanism of, I guess, an entrance fee, will be accepted lo, for him. The nirtzalo will be accepted for him. The one bringing the offering, the one who put his hand on its head, and v'nirtzalo, and it will be accepted on his behalf. It's kind of like saying the offering is a good thing. It's a sweet thing. It's a wonderful thing. And the guy on his hand says, "I get the credit of this entrance fee." His hand and him resting on it associates his journey toward God, to the face of God. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing. Lechaper alav. And this is v'nirtzalo lechaper alav. So it will be accepted for him for a purpose. We have the infinitive, the root, the shoresh kiper, the pl of the shoresh kaf pe resh, which is translated atonement. So this entrance fee will be accepted in order to make atonement for him. Le chaper alav, to make atonement, and it's not for him, which is interesting. V'nirtzalo le chaper alav, to make atonement on him. The preposition on is what is used here, and all over the Torah, actually. It's the preferred preposition for the verb atone. You make atonement on someone, not for. Atonement isn't made for somebody. Atonement is made on them, and that is because the verb lechaper, okay, it is that we translate atone. It means to daub or cover, to smear over intensively, to cover over. The way that Noah's Ark was covered in pitch, and it means that you're covered. This kind of speaks to the entrance fee idea, because it's like a cover charge. It will be accepted favorably as his cover charge. For what? For him to gain access to who? To the presence of God. To the presence of God. That's the point of this. We're missing the deepest part of the Torah. The Torah is not about weird punishment of sin and trying to expiate the nasty that we've caused. No, the point of it is getting close to God, to meet with him. It's called Ohel Moed. The point of atonement is to share space with God. It's what he wants. It's what he's looking for. He desires people. He desires worshipers who want to worship him in spirit and in truth. And on this simulacra, this man-made mountain, this Ohel Moed, this tent of appointment and meeting, it was the place that God designated and set up so that Israel would worship what they know, that they would get to know him. It's like going on a journey. It's not like, oh, I just got to go and I did a nasty and it's sticking to me and I got to clean a mess. It's going on a journey to meet with God. It's leaving behind the realm of the arts and the earth and stepping toward heaven and getting into the presence of God. An alien being who has summoned Moshe to summon us. God called out and summoned Moshe to summon Israel. I'll see how far I get with this for Tikkun. They shachat et bin bakar lifnei Yahweh. So the offerer slaughters and kills the son of the herd, the young bull, okay, before Yahweh. They shachat et bin bakar lifnei Yah. Okay, so this idea is, this process starts with the man laying his hand on its head, and he's already in the presence of Yahweh. In order for him to be granted further access, in order for him to experience Yahweh, as he seeks Yahweh, through this means, it's about making contact with Yahweh effectively in heaven. He slaughters the young bull, okay, the calf of the herd, and before Yahweh, and it's like Yahweh's there, His presence is there watching. And vehikrivu b'nei Aharon HaKohanim, and they are to present or draw near the sons of Aaron, okay, the priests, et hadam, the blood. The blood is how atonement is going to be made for that man, because the animal is his steps, and then the priests take the blood to Yahweh's steps, to the altar, right? The sons of Aaron, and they zarku et hadam al mizbeach, and they splatter the blood on the altar, saviv, all around, which is at the mouth of the tent of meeting, asher petach ohamoi, the one that's near the front. So it's just, there's the mouth, the opening of the tent. There's the laver, right? And then there's the altar. Now, there's the mouth of that tent. And this offerer, the son of Israel, wants to be near God, near his house, close to him. And he's doing this. It's going to be a meal, but in this meal, because it's an olah, it's a step up, it's passage, it's just for God. Often specific sacrifices would be preceded and sometimes followed with an olah. It's the thing that starts the conversation. It's the staircase. It's the step up. It's the granting of access. Everything matters. I don't exactly understand the slaughter. I know that its pieces are. It is cut into various parts and arranged and rearranged, and the parts of it that belong to the earth won't. There are parts of it that need to be thrown to the side. There are parts of it that need to go on the altar. There are parts of it that need to be given to the priest, and all of it is going to be translated into smoke. And the parts of it that are that belong to heaven are going to rise up in that smoke. In order for it to be prepared to be put on the altar, it needs to be rinsed and covered in water. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. This is here's the Torah. Let's just vehivshit et ha'olah, and he'll skin. Vehivshit et ha'olah, he'll skin that offering. Ve'nitach ota lintacheha. He will he'll cut up that olah into its cut up parts, into its appropriate members. He will cut it into its appropriate pieces, essentially. And it says here, vehivshit et ha'olah. It's in the singular. This is the offerer. It's the offerer. Again, the offerer will slay that creature. He'll kill it. The priest will collect the blood and bring it near. He will be cutting it into parts. And the sons of Israel will put, V'natnu b'nei Aharon HaKohen, okay? The sons of Israel, the priest, okay, will, they'll give fire on the altar. Eish ala mizbeach, They archu etzim, and they'll line up and arrange wood on that fire. There's this fire consuming the parts of this animal to be received by Yahweh. Who's behind the mouth of that tent? The whole time would be electrifying. I would love to be able to do it. To have a heart to know you. To have a heart to know you. I want to have a heart to know you. And then the sons of Aaron, the priests, okay, Arechu ha-netachim, they're gonna, so Arechu b'nei Aaron ha-kohanim et ha-netachim, they're gonna, the sons of Aaron are gonna take those pieces, right? They're gonna arrange those pieces, okay? Which pieces? Now the Torah specifies. Et harosh, the head. The head is offered. It's the thing that the man laid his hand on. It's a part of this process. The rosh. Rosh, it means head, it means leader, it means top dog, you know. It also can mean, oddly enough, in the Torah and Bereshit, it means poison. It's a play on words. I don't know if that applies here. So the head, it's mentioned first by the Torah. And the pader, okay, they say fat, but pader is suet. That's probably the better, the greasy parts, the suet, on the wood, which was arranged, which is on the fire, which is on the altar. Very specific, it's placement, arrangement and placement for a meeting, to meet. These guys are pantomime prophesying a meeting. This ritual's aim is to touch the presence of God. It is not to obsess over our shortcomings and our failings, is to try to get our arms around God. That's what they're doing. That's what they're grappling with. The kirbo, its innards, its internal parts, its insides, you take its internal parts. The kirbo, uchra'av, and its legs, its internal parts and its legs. Yerchatz b'mayim, they are to be washed in water. They wash the entrails, its internal parts, and its legs in water. V'hiktir hakohen et hakol hamizbeach. Then the priest is to turn into smoke. I believe that's what hiktir is. Yeah, to turn to smoke, which is like incense. It's what you do to incense, to turn into this pleasing aroma, to turn into smoke, the whole thing. Then he's going to turn all of it into smoke on the altar. As an olah. Okay, so olah ishe. I'm going to call it a staircase instead of a whole burnt offering. The offering is a staircase. A staircase offering of fire. Olah ishe. And this makes sense to call it a staircase too, because calling it a whole burnt offering, I guess it's like, oh, that combines fire. But if olah by itself is burnt offering, why say yesheh? It's almost like a staircase of fire, would be one way to see it. Olah ishe, a staircase through the means of the fire that ascends and rises. We take our insides, our parts, the inside parts of us, they get cleansed with water and they get offered to God to be consumed by Him. We offer our innards to Him. This ritual is not... I wish wish I could get this through to people. It's not just a way to avoid punishment or screw-ups. This offering isn't even concerned with their sin. You do a whole burnt offering without any sin at all. It is a means of offering yourself to God. It is to show Israel how to conduct themselves, to draw God near and make God want to be a part of your life. And how do you draw near to God? You offer yourself. That's why you lay your hand on the head. This is what I'm doing to myself. I'm arranging myself. I'm offering myself. All my life I'm offering to you to be poured out. I'm arranging the parts of my life into the parts that need. All of me needs to be translated to you, and my innards, they need to be cleansed and brought to you. And what is this to God? Reach. What is this to God? It is a reach nikoach leYahweh. It's time for me to do tikkun. So beautiful. Into a spirit that is pleasing, a smell. It's an aroma. Reach is related to the short for ruach. A pleasing, a soothing aroma. It's like a thing that gives him respite. It's a thing that gives him respite. It's a thing that gives him relief. Relief. The beauty of it. Relief from what? Relief from the lovelessness in the earth that he has come to dwell in the tabernacle, in our presence. There's no point in offering if he's in heaven and staying in heaven. The point of it is, he has come here into the midst of our lovelessness. That's the Torah. The Torah is love. The Torah is love. He has come into the midst of our lovelessness. And it gives him a relief. The offering done this way. May you meet with God this way. May you do with yourself in conversation with God what these brother Israelites, some of whom are priests and some of whom were Israelites, did to this animal. May you do that to yourself in prayer and conversation with God, in conversation with brothers and sisters. Yeah, amen. I want to do that.